wearing all black, being aggressive, hitting bombs. Got to hit bombs off the tee to be able to get to those small sections. And that's what I'm going to do today. Hit bombs and attack the pin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aloha Press Podcast. Today I'm joined by my co-host Jeff. I'm JC. We are joined by our very first professional golfer out in Florida. Bernie, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, JC. Nice for having me on the podcast. Well, excuse me, my name is Bernie. Bernardo Suarez. I was born in Venezuela. I started playing golf when I was a little kid. It started when I was about 6-7 years old. And I think my dad got me into it as a way of having more of a parent-kid time. He wanted to have an activity that he shared with me to do basically on the weekends or, weekdays. He took me to practice some days late, and I absolutely hated it at the beginning.
Why'd you hate it?
I think it was so boring. As a little kid, you're standing on the range trying to hit balls and not being successful at it. It kind of frustrated me. And it took me a while to start loving it. I wasn't one of those guys that fell in love with the game right away. You'll take a kid to the range and he'll fall in love with the game and he'll want to go back and every day. That was not me. Every time I was told that I had a golf lesson, I was reluctant. I tried to do everything possible to not go to a range.
So, Bernie, was your dad trying to make you a golfer right away? When you say you were young and you went to the range, is that all you did was hit on the range, or did you play a lot?
No, actually, every time I went with him, he tried to get me to play. He doesn't spend much time on the range himself. He obviously got me some lessons because he's not an avid golfer. He enjoys the game, but he's not, at the level where he can teach a young kid how to do it.
When did it start becoming fun?
Started becoming fun probably when I was 12 or 13 years old. I realized I had some talent. I was starting to play good. I was starting to, hit shots on demand. And I actually had my first and only hole-in-one around that time. So I think that's one of the major triggers that made me absolutely fall in love with the game.
Just knocking in hole-in-ones. Yeah, that would make anyone love the game. What? Tell us about the hole-in-one.
It was the ugliest hole-in-one you can imagine. I hit it the same way, probably 3 feet above the ground. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 125 or 130 yard shot. It probably carried 50 and rolled all the way there. Hit the pin, went in. It was horrible.
Bernie, do you still?
Now that I think back to it, it was disgusting, but it was still hole-in-one.
Do you still have the golf ball or the scorecard?
No.
No, you didn't save it?
No, I wasn't thinking of having a long career in golf at the time. So I was okay, you probably used it 3 or 4 holes after that, and they lost it or something like that.
Sounds good.
That sounds like something. How old were you when this happened?
I was 12 or 13. Can't
And
really recall, but yeah.
And that's your first and only one, right?
First and only, yes.
Yeah, you would think that you're 12 years old, 13 years old, you'd be screw it, I'm gonna have a bunch of these. This happens all the time, right?
Right.
I'm sitting here at 31 years old, have had absolutely zero. So
I can guarantee you, when you hit yours, you're gonna save that ball.
Well, now, yeah, I'm not gonna continue to use it, Bernie. Come on, man. All right. So
if I make one right now, I'm saving it, taking a picture of the scorecard, saving the scorecard, and
Right,
I'm
and then
telling
we're
you,
putting it all
everyone's
over
gonna hear
social
about it for
media.
the next 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So what in Venezuela? Like, how was golf in Venezuela? Like, what was it pretty accessible to you, or how did that go?
It was more accessible at the time that it is nowadays. It was still not as accessible as it is in the United States. There are only a handful of golf clubs in Venezuela. They're all private golf clubs. So accessible is not a word I would use to describe golf in Venezuela.
Okay, and so it not being like, why was it accessible to you? Did your dad? Because I know Venezuela, it's got a long history of having influence on the oil market. Was your dad influenced or worked through the oil market where they had courses around there?
Oh no, my dad is a doctor.
Oh shoot, okay.
My mom gave him a membership of a golf club as I think it was a birthday present. It was either a birthday or a Father's Day present for him.
That's a pretty nice gift.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So why didn't you become a doctor?
I tried. I am the youngest of three.
Okay.
All these hopes on him, especially because I liked it. I really liked medicine. I actually went into med school, and I did it for a year. But I realized, I don't that you need to be a doctor. So I just, gave up on it after a year.
So what was your passion? So when did it click where you're like, all right, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm pretty good at this golf thing. Like, let's be a pro golfer. When was that transition?
It happened after I moved from Venezuela. So I went from Venezuela to Panama. You had to leave the country for safety reasons. It was getting to the point where it was very unsafe to be there. My dad was kidnapped, and then they broke into my house, and they held us hostages for a few hours. And that's when my parents decided to send us away. So Panama was their country of choice because of the immigration laws were very I want to say flexible, maybe not flexible, but they were easier than to send us to the U.S. straight away.
Okay, so let's one, is your dad okay, and is your family okay?
Yeah, we're all okay. I mean, it's a chapter in our life that it was rough, but it taught us a lot of lessons needed to be able to get where we're at right now.
Bernie, when that happened to your family and those guys or girls broke into your house, what was the point of that back then? What were they looking for? Were they stealing your belongings? Were they stealing money? Were they trying to make you slaves? What was that all about?
It's all money. When they kidnapped my dad, all they wanted was money. They called and they asked for a ransom. Then when they broke into the house, they took everything from money, jewelry, to clothing. So basically everything you can take, everything they could fit in the SUV, they took it.
Did they target you guys because of your dad's profession and the fact that you may have had some money, or was this just kind of random?
To this day, I still don't know. They got me as I was entering the house, so I was the one they caught, and they forced me to open the door. But I don't know if they were targeting us or if they were just targeting the first person who entered the building.
I'll tell you, that's something to live through.
Yeah, holy crap. That's holy shit. I don't even. That's crazy. So how old were you when that happened? You 16, 17 years old?
I was 17, 18 years old, yeah.
Holy crap. All right. So you guys, as a family, you guys went to Panama. How long were you guys in Panama for?
Well, it was just me and my brother. We went, they basically shipped us to Panama. We stayed there for a year, a little bit over a year. And that's when I started, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I kind of left golf to side when I was in med school, and I realized that I had to, do something that I was going to be able to do it not only in the country where I was living at the moment, but if I had to move away again, I was going to be able to do that in another country as well. So that's really when golf started clicking, and when I realized that I wanted to play golf as a living.
Okay, that makes sense. So then you were in Panama, and then you moved to Florida. Why'd you pick Florida from all the places? Why not beautiful Idaho or Texas?
Idaho is not a place where you can play golf year-round.
I know. I figured that.
Florida, I got a scholarship at a golf academy, so I went there as a post-grad student, meaning that I was already done with high school.
Okay.
And I stayed there for a year and a half, a little bit over a year and a half, actually.
What do they teach you?
Just working on my game. I'm sorry?
At this golf academy that you went to, are they teaching you just how to play golf, or are they teaching the other side of golf, like when it comes to sales and instruction? What are they teaching you there?
No, it's purely playing. It's technique, it's course management, it's mental, it's fitness, it's a little bit of nutrition, but it's all about playing.
So it's kind of like a training camp for golfers.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So you did that for a year and a half, and then you went to college, right?
Yes. After that, I got a golf scholarship at Northwood University. So I went there, and I was supposed to play 3 years with them. I only got 1 year because I had some regulation issues with the NAIA. They deemed me ineligible because of unfair advantage. Whatever that means, I still don't know what that means. What they said is I had played a number of professional events as an amateur, and I had to redshirt, meaning that I couldn't play for a year and a half. And since I was going to be there for only 3 years, then I decided to turn pro after my first year.
So you turned professional, and from there, what was your game like? Were you hitting it close? How was that going?
I was looking back at it. I was not good enough to turn pro at the moment. I would have benefited to maybe practice with the teams for another year, even though I couldn't play collegiate tournaments. But it was a hard lesson. It was a reality check of, okay, here's where you are, here's where you need to be, and then just make out a plan of how are you going to get there, because you're not good enough.
Bernie, when you turned pro and you started playing in tournaments, like how did you get into these tournaments? Did you have sponsors paying your way? Were you working side jobs and to make the money to pay to get into them?
No, I couldn't work because of my visa. I was here as a student, so my visa wouldn't allow us to work. My parents were the ones sponsoring me at the moment.
So they'd get you into these tournaments?
Yeah, they basically paid my tournament fees.
What's something like that cost? Not that me and JC are going to be playing in anytime soon, but what does it cost to get into those tournaments?
Tournament fees are relatively cheap. They're about $200, and they're the same for mini tours. One of the events on the mini tours or the PGA Tour Latin America. They're around that price point. Obviously, there are mini tours which are a lot more expensive. There's one up in South Carolina, North Carolina, and the entry fee is $1,000 per event. But those have a bigger purse as well.
And how many rounds are these tournaments usually?
The ones around the Palm Beach area are usually 1 or 2 days, depending on the event. 2-day events are a little bit more expensive, but usually 1 or 2 days.
Okay. What so you did the mini tour thing. Did you venture out into the Latin American tour, the Canadian tour?
Yes, I played the Latin America. I also played the developmental series of the Latin America.
Okay, and how did that go?
It went good. It was rough, physically and mentally. It's a lot of traveling. It's not something I am planning to do again in the near future. I'm more focused on playing here and focusing my efforts towards web.com through Q School instead of through Latin America.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's fun in a way, but it's also, as I told you, hard, both mentally and physically.
So what was some of the fun parts about traveling in Latin America? I mean, you're from Latin America. I mean, you speak the language. I can't imagine. I mean, I've been out of the country, and when primary language is not English, it is very challenging for me. I had a lot of L's and a lot of ums to things just trying to get around and using my phone. Yeah. That probably was a pretty good, easy transition to go travel down there compared to someone that doesn't speak the language or isn't from there.
Absolutely, language was not a barrier. And actually, the fun part was getting to know a lot of places and getting to know a lot of people. And since you're traveling with guys week in, week out, then you form kind of this brotherhood and start sharing hotel rooms or Airbnbs. And it's fun to go there, play around, do your job, and then you have a group of friends that are with you every single day for 15, 20 weeks out of a year, and you go out, you decompress, you go have dinner, probably a couple of beers. If you miss the cut, then you go party or you work in your game, depending on how badly you played.
So does hanging out with those guys after the round kind of help you de-stress from what you guys are going through? It's kind of like you have that bond to kind of forget about things that happened on the course maybe that day and then go into the next day?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say it's easier. The PGA Tour Latin America and the PGA Tour are, two different beasts. But I think it's easier when you play on the Latin America or on the European Tour. You can see that very often as well, because you have a group of friends that you go out after you decompress. And on the PGA Tour, you usually go back to your hotel room and you're, by yourself. Latin guys tend to, stick together and they might do the same that they did in Latin America on the European Tour. But it's more of like family focused, the single player, and you don't really have that whole bunch of guys around you.
So I got a question. Me and JC have played sports our whole lives, different sports and stuff. And you get along with people and you build these brotherhoods and these bonds. But then there's always seems to be that one guy you really don't like and you want to beat him. Did you ever have that guy that you battled going through this to where, every day you went to the course, you wanted to get him?
Yes and no. Like when I get on the course, I don't have any friends. If I'm playing for money, if I'm playing competitively, that's my job. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to, be nice to you. I'm out there to win the tournament, period.
Heck yeah, I like that.
As I step out of the course, I'm a different guy. Like I don't want to beat you. I want your heart out mentality on the course, and then, outside the course, I'm like, dude, I love you. You're my best friend.
Yeah, go out and have some pops and go have some food. That's
exactly.
Cool though. Good. So how long did you do that for?
I did that for 3 years.
Okay, now
3.5 years.
Okay, during that time, was there any travel story, or maybe was there any sketchy event that you guys did, or was there any? I mean, we kind of hear always these horror stories in some of these countries that are probably not, they're just not, they're not the United States. Was there any crazy stories
Right.
that you have, from traveling over there for so long?
I try to stay away from travel and anything sketchy. Maybe the most interesting story was one time that my clubs didn't get there until Wednesday, and my first round was on Thursday. But other than that, I always try to, behave, because I'm there ultimately to do a job and not to
Not
go
to get,
party or do something stupid.
yeah, not to get stuck in some Tijuana jail or something. Yeah.
It's probably a good idea.
Exactly. I don't, especially not want to be in that Tijuana jail.
Can't say we've made those good decisions that often when we travel, but
It happens. But so Bernie, so you lost your clubs came in a little way. I mean, I can't imagine losing my clubs, and I'm not a professional. I'm a 12 handicap. Like, my driver's my driver, and God, I'd be freaking out. But that's good. So your club showed up, and you were able to use them.
Yes, I wasn't able to play a practice round on that event, but to course what I had played before, so I wasn't too worried about it. But yeah, my clubs got there luckily last minute, and I was able to use them on the event.
Let's so I don't want to give anyone a bad plug, but any particular airlines that was just rougher than normal? It was probably Delta
Not
or
really.
something.
It's just bad luck. A bunch of guys had a lot of bad luck with American Airlines, but in my experience, American Airlines have been the best.
Oh yeah.
But that's my personal experience.
All right, cool. What so golf is one of those things that, it seems like there's ups and downs, and when I'm playing my best, it seems like I step on the first tee and I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just picking a target and just swinging, picking my flight, ball flight, and then I'm just hitting it. Have you gone through any challenges, with your game or, the mental side of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gone, it's been up and down my whole career, and I think that's the nature of the game. But I think the most frustrating part of my career has been late 2016, early 2017, where I hit rock bottom. I was drained. I was, not loving the game. It was probably the hardest time to keep going. I had a bunch of events scheduled, and it got to a point where I really, really thought about quitting, not doing this anymore and just go out there and get a job.
So what was some of the things that challenged you? Were you just hitting snap hooks, or did you have the shanks, or the were you having the yips, or what were you kind of going through?
I had everything.
Everything? Oh, so you
had everything.
So just take your game and then make it my game.
At the same time.
Oh shit! All
right. Going through at the same time, and I think the pinnacle of it is, at one tournament I hit a 12 on a par 3. I hit a perfect tee shot where I thought I hold it, and there was this gust of wind or something. I maybe chose the right club, but it was about 2 yards short, plugged in the bunker into an impossible green, and I hit it. I tried to hit it on the green, obviously, and it rolled down the green onto the other side into an 18th area, played it out of there, and went back into the bunker. And I was, kind of back and forth for a while until I was able to finally get it on the green, 2-putt for 12.
At least you 2-putted.
That's a great 2-putt.
Yeah,
right.
It was a good 2-putt.
I would have went back and 4-putted.
That was the pinnacle of, oh shit, I hit rock bottom.
Yeah. So what? 12 on a par 3. I hit rock bottom a lot. So what really flipped the switch on you? And what? Because what are you at right now? What's your handicap?
Index is plus 4.9.
Holy crap! All right, so what flipped the switch? That
I think they just changed it. I think now it's a minus. I don't know why.
huh.
The rules changed. I think they created that plus and now it's minus. I don't know.
Huh, that's weird. But so obviously
Yeah.
your game is in a better place. What
Yeah.
what made that transition? What made it, from hitting bunker shots to bunkers to two putting? What was the transition? How did you get back into it? What motivates you right now?
It was a process. It was not like a one-day thing. It took me. It's been 2 years now since I decided to, reshuffle everything and start practicing a different way and start focusing on different things. First thing that I really realized that I needed help with was my mental part of the game. I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was more into, I have to have the perfect swing, and I have to hit the ball dead straight every time. So that was the first area to tackle. Second, it was my nutrition. I was having these lows and downs of energy on the course after like the 10th hole. So I really focused hard on that. And I'm going to sidetrack a little bit here. It's a tough area for me because I was obese as a kid. So my subconscious always tries to get me to not eat enough.
Okay.
And if I had enough this job, I'll be eating enough. But since I'm out there 8, 9, 10 hours a day, I need to eat more than I think I need to. But yeah, that's the second area that I focused a lot on. And then it was my technique. It was, my technique wasn't bad, but it wasn't at the point where it was repetitive. It was very timing sensitive. So if I got nervous and my timing got a little too quick, then I started missing the middle of the club face.
So Bernie, I got a question for you. We've played a few tournaments, and obviously the nerves, like you're talking about, and your adrenaline is a lot different than when you're just playing with your buddies. Do you have any tips for us? Like, obviously, we don't do it a lot, but how can you help us when we step up to that first tee or we step over a really important shot and you're feeling all those emotions and that stress? Like, is there a way to kind of help yourself calm down and get back into the mode and hit a good shot?
Breathing is something that always helps, but breathing by itself is not going to help you. You have to have structure. The main thing I've been working with my psychologist right now is to have a structured routine. And I feel a lot of people have like the perfect pre-shot routine, but then they don't have a closure. So you have to have that post-shot closure routine as well. What I mean is, if you hit a good shot, then reward yourself, and it might be like an internal reward or an external reward, or just think what went wrong, but don't overanalyze it, and realize that once the ball leaves the club face, there's nothing you can do.
All right. So when you hit a great shot, what's the external reward for you? Is it some giant club twirl? Because that's mine. I'm staring it down. I'm that thing's spinning so much. I look like Tiger when I'm spinning it. What's your external?
Depending. If it's a full shot, then yeah, club twirl is my go-to.
All right.
If it's a pot, then it might be a fist pump or a tap on my leg or something like that.
All right, I like that. What were you eating before? And now, what are you eating right now? Were you eating Big Macs or what? Were you
on the John Daly diet?
No, I was never. Well, yeah, I was John Daly when I was a teenager.
Did you see by chance what he had in his cart the other day for the first round of the PGA?
I think he had a McDonald's cup.
Did he?
McDonald's, Diet Cokes, and cigarettes.
Good God. Let's grow the game, huh?
That's the most John Daly thing I've ever seen.
Oh, God, yeah. What's your diet like right now? I mean, is that your what are you eating kale all day? Are you on the Brooks Koepka diet or
No,
what?
no. I just try to eat balanced. I try to eat a lot. My calorie ingestion, it's around 5,000 calories a day. So it's very hard to keep it that way when you're trying to eat healthy.
Dude, that's
It's
like
a lot
Michael
of,
Phelps.
That's crazy. 5,000 calories. Oh god.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That puts in some work. So on that, did your physical fitness go up when? I mean, obviously you're not eating 5,000 calories and not working out. You got to be working out. What kind of workouts are you doing?
I do a lot of functional. I try to mix in strength training with plyometrics and some, very specific golf strength things. I don't do a lot of cardio because I hate it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even though I probably should do a little more.
Yeah.
But it's not the usual, bench press and back squats and dumbbell bicep curls and stuff like that. It's more towards staying healthy, staying injury free, and also gaining club head speed.
Okay, so let me get your opinion, okay? Because someone approached our company, our video side of our company, and said, we think our cross training is really good for golf. And I said, sure. What's a good example of that might bring up someone's club head speed? And they said tire flips. Do you think tractor tire flips are a good golf workout?
They can be.
Really? Oh my god! I was like,
if you do it, wait. If you do it more towards flipping that tire as fast as you can. So if you do it more towards, being it a fast twitch muscle fiber type of thing,
sure,
then yeah, it might help. But if it's more like, I'm gonna be, Schwarzenegger and try to flip this 500-pound tire just for the sake of it, then no, it actually be counterproductive.
All right, that's kind of what I was going down, but we'll see. Jeff, so what? We're not doing tire flips. We got to get in shape. Okay, we got to eat better.
Number one.
And how often do you practice, Bernie?
I practice 6 days a week.
Okay, and how many hours are you putting in?
Some weeks I'll go 7 days a week, even though my wife doesn't enjoy that.
How does your wife even let you play 6 days a week? We struggle to get out one time a week and we still get in trouble. Like, does she love golf too?
She loves golf as a sport. She doesn't like to play. I think she's never gonna even try to play.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's how you remain a lover of the game for a long time.
It's also how you stay married.
I'm sorry?
I said that's how you stay married too. I tried to teach my wife golf,
but
and now
also she's a physical therapist and she specializes in sports, so she's very into sports in general. So getting her to like golf was not really hard.
That's awesome. Okay, good. What so let's dive into what kind of clubs you playing right now. What's your golf ball? How far do you hit your driver?
Okay, so full disclosure, one of my sponsors is Strixon, so I play a full Strixon bag. I have also an R Golf Potter, which is one of my sponsors as well. I go driver 3 with 2 iron, then I go down from 4 to 9, then I go 46, 51, 56, 60.
Okay. What? How far do you hit your driver?
Driver goes average on the year 295.
Damn.
What? 285 or 295?
95. 295.
All right. What now? If you really max that thing out, where are you hitting it to?
Maxed out, I can carry it to 310.
Oh my gosh. Good. All right. How about your 7-iron? What are you hitting your 7-iron? Stock 7-iron.
Stock 7-iron goes 179.
Holy
Maxed
moly.
out 7-iron goes 185.
Jeez Louise.
I wish.
I can't drive a cart that far.
So, Bernie, are you more of a conservative player where you're taking nice smooth swings and kind of hitting it at your stock yardage, or are you like us where we always try to take less club and swing hard?
No, I am as conservative as possible.
Okay.
I am one of those players that you see on the tears and say, "Oh my God, this is boring."
So you're down the middle on the green, 2-putt, go to the next hole?
Yep.
Hey.
I'll get aggressive if I can. I always try to, and this is something that one of my previous coaches told me once, and is you play aggressive to smart targets.
Okay.
I'm not trying to play the hero shot. Even if it's an accessible pin, then I'll play aggressive to it. But if I have water hazard along bunker left and maybe something on the right, then I'll go middle of the green.
Me and JC have a problem then because we tend to go right at every green and swing as hard as we can on every drive. So I get why our scores go up.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's like occasionally I have what we call the hooks, and then occasionally I have the pushes. And for whatever reason, I think I can just shape the golf ball in both directions, and I can't do either one of them good. It just drives me crazy. But so what's your go-to shot? What's the shot that you're hitting into a fairway or into a green?
Baby fade. I was a baby fade. I was a draw player until like a year ago, maybe less than a year ago. I always played a fade when I was growing up, and then when I got into like serious coaching, they tried to get me to hit a draw, and I always struggled a little bit with the draw. And a while ago, I decided to screw that. I'm gonna play my natural shot shape, which is a big fade, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I can still hit a draw. I can feel like a banana hook into a green, but it's not my go-to shot.
So when you're playing the cut or the little fade, are you usually picking a target somewhere? How far left of the flag or of your intended area to hit it? Like how far is this fade going?
It's maybe like a 10-foot fade, 10, 15 feet fade. So what's that, like 3-yard fade, 5-yard fade?
Yeah. So it looks pretty good on Shot Tracer.
Yeah, it would look beautiful.
It would look pretty darn good. My Shot Tracer looks like freaking like some kid drew it with a crayon.
Up, down, and right and left?
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, Bernie. So what are your goals here in the future? Are you planning any mini tour events? You said you're going to Q school. Are anything of those are those planned out? Where are they at? What are you doing next?
I might not go to Q school this year. Q school, it's something that I really want to be prepared for. I was on track to, get my game peaking at the right time. I have a rib injury right now. I'm struggling with a fractured rib.
Holy!
But
how'd you injure a rib?
It's a stress fracture from repetitive movement. So basically from hitting shots.
Freaking pounding golf balls, huh? I won't ever have that problem.
Yep. It's not something you want to have.
No, that sounds terrible. So once you get healed up, what's the next step?
So I'm just gonna keep playing mini tours for the majority of the year. I'm waiting on the Mexican tour to start over. They just had their final tournament, I think, a week ago. So they'll restart in sometime towards the second semester of the year. I might play some of those, and I'm also going to do Mondays for the for the web, a little bit of Mondays for the web, and I'll try to, play some Mondays on the Latvica, even though it's a little bit expensive to travel down there just for a Monday.
Yeah, definitely. So the one thing that you got to do, you got to let us know when you're going to Monday for something. Okay, we got to jump on there. We're going to root for you. So going forward, that's awesome. So you got to get healthy.
Bernie, what's your best round ever?
Best round ever was a 60.
60. Where'd you shoot it at?
I shot it at Falcon's Fire up in Orlando.
Were you just on fire that day?
I was on autopilot. I cannot recall any other round. I can recall the first tee shot, and then I may be able to recall some random shots, but I have a blackout for 4.5 hours.
Damn,
that's awesome. So, Bernie, how do we support you? I know the Aloha Press can't sponsor you in the sense of like money, or we can sponsor. Do you have a towel deal?
Sorry?
Do you have a towel deal?
Yeah, I have a towel deal, unfortunately. Noon Hydration, which is awesome company as well. They provide me both with towels and hydration towels and hydration tablets and bottles, water bottles.
You're gonna need them down in Mexico in the Latin tour. Jeez, gets a little warm down there.
Yeah, a little humid.
All right. So if someone wants to support you or sponsor you for the next some Monday qualifying, how would they get in contact with you, either through Instagram or Facebook, or do you have an email that they can reach out to?
Instagram is always a good way to contact me. I'm not on Instagram probably as often as I should. Best way to get in contact with me is through my email. It's info@bernardosuarez.com. That's info@BernardoSuarez.com.
Absolutely, and we'll add all those. We'll add all that information into the link below the podcast, where you can find us on Apple Podcast. Bernie, we really appreciate you joining us for a conversation and telling us your story. And we hope to talk to you soon. And get healthy and get ready for some of those Mondays. I want to see you on the weekend on a web.com tour. That would be awesome.
Basically, you want to see me on TV. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Or hey, maybe you could be on our channel, the Aloha Press YouTube channel.
Right, and if it ever comes to the West Coast, we'll go out and watch you.
Absolutely. I love it. Hey guys, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Wearing all black, being aggressive, hitting bombs. Got to hit bombs off the tee to be able to get to those small sections. And that's what I'm going to do today. Hit bombs and attack the pin.